Hello, hello. We are playing uh Limits. Yes. Uh I'm going to be real with you. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm half asleep. But isn't that the best time to be trying to read? So I have a nice caffeinated beverage that's probably going to dry out my throat while reading. So we'll see how this turns out, okay? Okay. Also, I got tired. I don't I don't know what I'm saying. I restarted the game to use the default name because I didn't know that if you just hit enter for when it asks you like what the main character's name is, you just default to a thing, which I think is Dan, if I remember right. So, yeah, I did that. I made all the same decisions, so no harm done. I just, Dan's easier to say than Mr. Josh, so we doing that, okay? Okay. Jeesh. Are you going to a party or something? There's a lot of food there here. Not that I'm complaining. Oh no. The chief just wanted to give you all a treat is all. Wow, how nice of you, Chief. I could get used to this. Just don't overindulge, alright, Jacob? Try to leave some for the others. I think that's a good idea, Chief. Ah, come on. Just because I finished that one cake, everyone is now in my case. Is now in my case. I feel like it should be on my case, but like whatever. Okay. And he finished the cake? I don't know. I have a friend that's known for deep throating whole cakes, so like just finishing one seems okay. Like pretty normal. You do realize that one cake you speak of was rather big, right? It wasn't some small slice, Jacob. Yeah. But you know who's to blame, though. The person who left a perfectly good cake all alone in the fridge. And with no note, no nothing. It's like that person want people to eat it. So it can't be all my fault. Jacob, did no one tell you that it was Steve's cake? I'm pretty sure that he told everyone in the morning about it. Did you miss that? As if I remember correctly, wasn't that cake supposed to be for your little sister's party, Steve? Yeah. I had to order another one after I found out that Jacob ate it all. Oh, so he did eat like the whole thing. Never mind. This guy's terrible. This guy also deep throats whole cakes. I see. Good thing that the party wasn't for that day. Otherwise, I honestly wouldn't know what to do. Oh, snap. From where you are standing, you could see a dramatic shift in Jacob's face. It portrays the face of a man who realizes that he has made a pretty damn big mistake. His animated movements become stiff as he trembles on the spot. You could hear his nervous voice to be uncharacteristically higher than usual. Oh, it was yours, Steve? I mean, it was my fault. Damn, I should have been more considerate. Forget everything that I said. None of it was your fault. Jacob. It's fine. What's done is done. At least you enjoyed the cake, right? How about we go outside for a bit and get some fresh air? I think you need it. Right. If you'll excuse us, Sal, Chief. And Jan, was it? Yes, that's me. Oh, and thank you for the food, Chief. I think everyone appreciates it. It was my pleasure. The otter smiled as he gently ushered the flustered weasel out of the room. How considerate of Steve. I won- I wonder what got Jacob to behave like that though. He's not usually like that, is he? No, he's not usually like that. The chief turned to his back and picked up a chocolate donut from the box on the table. Did something happen that I wasn't aware of? Who knows? Sally looked into your direction and gave you a wink with a big grin on her face, which made you grin back at her in return. Fortunately, with the chief having his back turned, he was oblivious to the exchange. What a sly woman. Hey Dan, you should try the donuts, or the bagel already. They're pretty good. You're free to have your one. Have your one and another one of your choice if you'd like. I'd like to grab another and head back to my office. So if you need me, just knock on my door, all right, Dan? Okay, thanks for treating us for lunch, Chief. Yes, it was really sweet of you, Chief. My pleasure. I'll be going now. Take care. See you, Chief. Well then, you think he'll care? Care about what? You know, Jacob and Steve. Who knows? I can't exactly read his mind, Dan. But you're good at reading people. Isn't that basically the same thing? Oh, you're clever, Dan. I'm going to have to be careful around you. I'm just kidding, silly. You may be clever, but you're actually quite easy to tease. Damn, for a second I thought that she was gonna start holding her guard around me. I'd hate to have her be like that. I'd imagine that it'd be tense and awkward. Also, what's with you and the chief? I noticed that he's been constantly looking at you through the car's visor on the way back here. Did something happen while I was gone? As expected of her, can't say I'm surprised that she noticed that. We just had some talk, that was all. I don't know. He seems to be quite interested in you. You think so? What if he's just worried about me? After what happened earlier today, I guess that makes sense. Although, Gran has been pretty talkative with you too. Who are you going to charm next, Dan? Oh, I bet you already charmed that dragon too. What was his name again? Oh right, Dave, was it? What are you talking about? I am not and have not been charming anyone. Your cheeks flare red as you try to speak. You couldn't help but think of the trio in your head. They don't actually think of me that way, do they? Uh-huh. Okay, if you say so. Anyway, what happened earlier back in the office? If you don't mind me sharing. Oh, that? Well, I've been told by Oppenheimer that my father could still be alive. Yes, I think I remember you mentioning that before. I was wondering about how Oppenheimer is involved with you. Now that I think about it, I don't think Sally exactly knows that I'm not from this world. I think I remember telling her that some of the things here are quite new to me, but no explanation. She probably thinks that I have amnesia or something. I don't know if I should tell her or not, though. But she's been treating me so nicely these past few hours. I feel like I can trust her. Gran seems to highly trust her as well. So I guess it won't be any harm. Before I answer that, I need to tell you something. Okay, I'm listening. This sounds crazy, I know, but I'm not from this world. You spend the next few minutes retelling the story up to the point before you talked with the lion to Sal. She didn't say much throughout the whole explanation, but you could see that she was listening attentively. You explain to her again how your father has been missing for the majority of your life, and how it seems that your father has instead been living here in this world. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear about your recent loss, and for what you've been through, Dan. I honestly didn't expect to hear that from you. You act so calmly and kind on the outside, while on the inside, you're actually hurting. It's actually pretty tragic. I'm sorry, Dan. If only she knew that my mind has been like a racing track for Grand Prix these past few days. It's all right, Sally. I'm okay. None of this is anyone's fault. Still, to answer your question about Oppenheimer, though, he said that I may be the son of this York person. Isn't York your last name? Yes. He said that this York person could possibly be my biological father. To verify that I am, in fact, his son, I'm told to go with him to some research development associated with the company tomorrow morning. He said that they'll be doing some DNA tests, and if the records match, well, I don't know what's going to happen then, honestly. Are you going with him tomorrow, then? I'm actually not sure myself. The chief said that Oppenheimer intention as well, based on where he worked. But I don't know if I trust him. At least not now. I'm going to need a bit more time with him to be able to decide that. The cat lady went quiet for a moment. From the look on her face, she seems to be in quite a deep thought. I think you should go with him tomorrow, Dan. You came to this police station with Gran looking for answers, right? I mean, sure, I suppose that you've already requested some assistance with the help of the chief. But you don't think that it's better to learn the answer sooner than later? Oppenheimer may be a stranger, but wasn't everyone before they met them? But now that I think about it, maybe it's a bit flawed. Not every stranger is well-intentioned, after all. But I still really think that you should take the chance, Dan. I think Gran would have said the same thing. Oppenheimer seems to know quite a lot about your father, too. And that information is quite important for you, right? I've been really lucky so far, haven't I? The people that I've met and interacted with thus far seem to have good intentions in their mind. At least I think they do. I wonder what would have happened to me if someone else had, with a bad intention, got to me first instead of Gran. What if my good luck finally runs out? I think you are right, Sally. I'm going to have to take a leap of faith for something this important. Whether I fall or made the jump. I guess I'll deal with that when the time comes. That's the spirit. I'll be praying for you, dear. Thank you for talking with me, Sally. You've no idea how much it helped. You try your best to give her a smile, despite being overwhelmed by other emotions. I'm glad that I was able to help. The feline lady claps both her hands. Now then, let's eat, shall we? I'm starving. I think your one is in the box over there, Dan. Feel free to just open it, alright? Alright. Meanwhile, in the chief's office. Let's see where my mail's, what's in my mail today. Hello? This is the chief, speaking. Who is this? Hello again, Mr. Forsberg. This is Pierre speaking. Oh, Oppenheimer. Is there something that I can help you with? Is Mr. York with you? He is not in my office with me. I believe he's eating lunch right now. Ah, good. Could you spare me a moment of your time? I'd like to discuss something with you. I would have inquired about this earlier, but York wasn't feeling so well. I did not want to put any more pressure or stress on him than I have already done. Is this going to be about Dan? This is going to be about Dan, I presume. Precisely. Which is why that it is good that he is not currently in the same room as you. Okay, I can spare some time. What is it that you would like to discuss? Thank you, Mr. Forsberg. So, I'd like to inquire about... Back in the lounge. Man, I didn't think that one of these would fill me right up. I never thought that the size would be this big. Hey, Dan. I'm going back to my station, alright? If you'd like to take a nap, you can simply go to the infirmary and pick a bed. I think the chief has already told Steve about what's going on, but if not, just tell him to ask me or the chief, got it? Actually, before you go, I was wondering if there's something that I can do to help around here. I'm not feeling tired just yet, and I'd like to be able to do something back in return. I'd rather much be doing something instead of just lazing around. Aw, aren't you so sweet? Well, I think there's a couple of things that you could do around this office. How about you come over with me to the front, then? How about the leftovers? Are we just going to leave them out like this? Or, as you were finishing your sentence, the door of the lounge swings open. The otter and the weasel. The weasel seems to be looking like his usual self. Ah, welcome back, you two. You're looking pretty okay now, Jacob. What do you mean? I've always been okay. If you say so. Anyways, we're back here because we'd like some of those good-looking donuts and bagels. Also, did the chief return back to his office? Yeah, he went a little while ago. Ah, that's a shame. I didn't get the chance to thank him for these treats. You'll get your chance, Jacob. The weasel notices your presence standing next to the cat lady. Whoa, you're still here. You're not in trouble, are you? The weasel slowly walks towards you, eyeing you suspiciously, stopping just a meter away from you before leveling his head with yours. I can hear his breathing. Jacob, I believe you are intruding into his personal space. He took a step back. All right, my bad. I don't think we've introduced ourselves with each other. I'm Officer Jacob. You can call me Jacob, though. And you are? His suspicion is replaced by a wide smile as he offers you a handshake. My name is Dan. You took his hand in. You could feel that that his fur has quite a smooth texture to it, a bit similar to the otter's. You release his grip before it got too long. What's your business here? There's not a lot of humans around this part. You're not running away, are you? The otter standing in proximity quickly jabs the weasel in his side with his elbow, keeping a smile on his face in the meanwhile. Ugh. I mean, it's none of my business, so don't worry about it. You seem cool with Sal and Grant, so that should be enough to trust you. Ah, well. Thanks, Jacob. Yup, no worries. Well, me and Dan are just going to leave the room. So you two help yourselves with the food, all right? Just please be a dear and store them in the fridge once you're done. Thanks, and see you. Will do. See ya, Sal and Dan. See ya. The otter and the weasel gave you a small wave. The weasel, however, is also clutching his side, the part where he has been recently jabbed. You gave both of them a wave in return before walking out of the room with Sal at your front. Those two are quite cute, aren't they? I guess. I hope Jacob is okay, though. I imagine that jab must have been quite painful. He's fine. If anything goes wrong, Steve just patch him up straight away. He's a doctor, after all. You're right. I guess there's no need to worry, then. So, is there anything I can do? Yes, do you think you can sort these messy piles of flyers? Files? Blah. She points at the two big piles of files and folders, with each of them having an approximate size of a basketball in diameter. That's a lot of files and folders. I've already done some of it earlier. This morning, but I had to take care of something else. Oh, I think I can do that. How do you want me to sort them? Well, it's been separated. I've been separating them by type, but do what you think is the best, Dan. Ah, okay. How did it get to this anyway? I can't remember if it was Gran or Jacob or some other officer who did it. But what happened was someone bumped into one of the file folders and they just fell out. Honestly, I think it was just an unfortunate mistake. I don't think it was intentional. Do you really trust me with handling all this stuff? What do you mean? I mean, some of these files might contain some sensitive information. If I were to sort them out, I might not be able to avoid accidentally looking at some of them. I think it's fine. I trust you enough. And you're not from around here, so what use of this information would be to you? I assure you that there won't be any files related to you, so don't have to worry about that. Although, please do not intentionally look inside the files and folders. It is a breach of personal privacy, and since you aren't exactly working here, you could get in a lot of trouble. I understand. Thanks for trusting me with this. No problem. If you'll excuse me, I'll be tending to my work now. You can sit down on the chair. The cat lady points her fingers at the chair a meter away from her. Okay, I'll start now, and as we'll see, I'll start now, and as well then. You lost yourself in your work. You've decided that it would be best to follow that Sally has done previously. The files that you had to deal with consists of reports of missing pets and some wanted person. They keep these things as pets. Based on the blurry picture, you couldn't really tell what it is exactly, but it seems to be to have a slug-like form. It's just... Ignore the picture. I'll just ignore the pictures. There's also a mix of driving test results and forms, as well as some residence information issues. You try your best to ignore the details and simply focus on their types instead. At some point during the time sorting, the feline lady turns on the radio and gave you a cup of water. You use this a brief moment to excuse yourself to the bathroom. The cat lady gave you the directions to where it is. Once you were done washing your face and doing your business, you return back at the task at hand. You thought that sorting these files would be quite easy and simple, since you're quite familiar with the job thanks to your past occupation. Turns out your work is cut out for you. You realize it is a bit too late, that some of the files may be of the same nature, but have a different date. Man, I'm stupid. You had to make sure that the loose files are with the same ones too, and to do that, you needed to be carefully compare the dates between each file, ensuring that they all match. During your time working, you've noticed a couple of locals visiting in to discuss some matters. You try not to eavesdrop, but you couldn't help but hear about them, talking about their missing pets. Other than that, Some of the others seem to have come here to simply have a conversation with the feline lady. After a few hours of sorting, you finally finish. Oh man, I think I'm finally done, Sally. Oh, it looks so neat. Thank you very much, dear. Man, why couldn't they just digitize all these forms? That should improve efficiency, right? Come to think of it, how advanced is their technology? From what I've seen so far, it seems to be relatively the same. Maybe I'll find out in due time. Sorry if the task is a lot tougher than you thought it would be. It's fine. I've done this many times before, so it's like second nature to me. Even if this did end up taking a lot more time than I thought it would. Oh, what was your previous occupation, if I may ask? I worked at a local business firm as a manager. Oh, that's neat. It is. And man, I was looking forward to finding out whether I'll get promotion next month too. I feel like there should be whether I'll get a promotion or I'll get promoted, but I mean, I'm really bad at grammar. Oh man, I would always get like B's in my English classes, and I would always get like notes from my professor going like, I love your paper and what you chose to discuss, but your grammar is atrocious, so I knocked you down a letter grade. And I'm like, fair. Is what it is. Oh, that's a shame, dear. It's fine, not your fault. It's gotten pretty late already. My shift is about to end in a few minutes, so I'll have to leave soon, or my brother's going to get worried about me. You have a brother? Oh, yes. He is a little younger than you. I wonder how old Sally is then. Probably shouldn't ask. I think it's rude to ask a woman's age. Do you ever think that's kind of bullshit? Like, I don't know. I get asked my age all the fucking time. And I'm just meant to, like, be okay with that. But, I mean, I kind of am. I think it's funny. Because people just, like, never get my age right. They're like, you're, like, 17, right? You're, like, just out of high school? And I'm like, am I? It's a fun game, for sure. Even if I am in a different world. Not gonna risk it. Oh, that's cool. Don't let me hold you here any longer then. Thank you, dear. Oh, and just for a heads up, I won't be having any shift tomorrow since it's Monday. But you'll be seeing me come Wednesday though. If you're still here, that is. Ah, that's a shame. A lady needs her breaks from time to time, you know. And don't worry about the reception being empty. Another officer will take over in a few minutes. I've already messaged him that I'm off for the day. Oh, and one last thing. Wear this. This should let the others know that you've been given the okay to roam around. She passes you a blue badge that reads guest. You take a moment to wear it on your shirt. Nobody should bother you this way, but if they do, ask the question. You can either answer them or tell them to ask the chief. I know how sensitive your situation is, so don't be afraid to do the latter, alright? Alright. Anyway, best of luck, Dan. I hope things will work out for you. See ya. See ya, and thank you for everything. The feline cat gave you a big smile, and the two of you waved each other goodbye. Man, I'm beat. I think I'm going to try and get some sleep. What time is it anyway? You stare at the clock hanging next to the TV. It reads 6:47. That's still pretty early to clock in for the day, though. I mean, that's like lunchtime for me. Still pretty early to clock it. Yeah, I wonder if there's anything I can do to burn some time. It really does suck to not have a phone with you at the times like these, huh? Maybe I could go bug the chief for a little while. No, I shouldn't. He's a busy guy, isn't he? Although he did say that I can come to him for anything. Maybe I should just go to sleep early. Who knows what I'm going to have to do with the lion tomorrow. Hopefully nothing scary. Still, I'd be lying if I wasn't interested. Yeah, we're just gonna move on from that. I should jump off a bridge. Huh? Hello? I'm still here. As you regain your bearings, you could see a familiar figure standing right in front of you. Jeesh, kid. You okay? You've been giggling like like those little kids in the horror movies and staring off into space. Kind of scary, honestly. It's not Halloween yet, you know. In your head, you virtually facepalm yourself. Oh, man. I tried calling you, but you just stood there like a zombie in dreamland. Zombies don't dream, do they? They're dead. Their brains ceased to function when they died. That's besides the point. The weasel took a moment to check his surroundings. Why are you still here anyway? You're not actually in trouble, are you? The weasel eyes you down with suspicion, just like before. This time, however, he kept his distance. Where is the doctor when you need him? Who knows, right? I guess my, I kind of don't like how they don't separate some of Dan's, inner monologue versus his dialogue. Like, it's a bit hard sometimes to parse. You gave out a peal of nervous laughter as you try to avoid looking back into his amber eyes. Okay, fine, Dan. I get the hint. You keep your secrets, I don't need them. The weasel then has his eyes on the badge you're wearing. If you're sticking around, it's none of my business. Just don't do anything stupid, because I'll be watching. The weasel narrows his eyes as he stares into you. A moment later, his face dramatically changes into a smile. Well, I'm going to do my job. So, you do whatever, I guess. With a shrug, the weasel took a seat next to the spot where your feline friend was sitting. He then promptly pulls out what you assume to be his phone and fiddles around with it. That was an interesting encounter. Do whatever, huh? Well, what am I going to do? Man, I don't want to bother Norman. Was that his name? Nah, that seems so rude. And I'm kind of not interested in him. So I'll just go rest. Yeah. I think I'll just go rest and try to get some sleep. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit hungry though. Then you remember that there's still they still have granola bars that Sally had been giving you earlier today. You gingerly pull it out of your pocket. Upon further inspection, it is an apple-flavored granola bar with a brand that you've never seen before. This should tide me for the night. Man, I already missed Dave's cooking and sandwiches. This isn't bad. You've eaten the granola bar. It tastes just like an apple back home. Or at least an artificial flavoring of it. I keep forgetting that I'm in a different world. At least it's a good thing that a lot of things are familiar. That are familiar to me. I'm going to brush my teeth. Thankfully, I still have that pouch Dave gave me. Hey, Jacob, I'm gonna go. Have fun with your job. Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. Bye. The weasel gave you a small wave before focusing his attention back towards his device. You took a visit to the bathroom to take care of your business. After a few minutes of taking care of yourself, you headed towards the infirmary. Along the way, you noticed that there's not a lot of officers on standby. Some of them gave you a wave and a smile at you, while others approached you to ask you questions. You didn't want to be suspicious, yet you also don't want to tell everyone about your situation, so you simply tried giving them a bare-bone answer. Thankfully, they seemed satisfied enough to let you be on your way. Good thing I didn't encounter any other officers. Well, this is the infirmary, right? Come on in. Inside, you were able to see the doctor carrying a bag and folders under his arm. Ah, it's you, Dan. So, you were staying for the night, then? Yes. Have the chief told you? Yeah. Sorry to hear about the situation that you're in, by the way. How much has he told you? Not a lot. Just got the gist of what's going on. Don't worry, I'm not going to pry. The otter officer offers you a smile. You know, your situation is quite similar to Jacob's. In what way exactly? His father is not also in another world, is he? His father passed away before he was born. So he's been living with his mother and grandparents growing up. I see. That's unfortunate. I remember him saying something along the lines of, "Why should I care about a man that I've never met?" I can't say that I agree with that sentiment, but I also can't disagree with it either. What do you think, Dan? I don't know. That's okay. Sorry about his behavior earlier this afternoon, by the way. He can be a bit too bold sometimes. It's fine, I understand. I think he means well. The otter stopped what he was doing to look at you, a wider smile forming on his face. Thank you. Sorry to cut the chat short, but I need to be on my way, Dan. I'm assuming that you're here to sleep, right? If that's the case, feel free to use the curtains. I've also already prepared a blanket for you, just in case you needed it. I wish you good luck and hope that things still work out for you. See you around. Alright, thanks for everything, Doc. See ya. The two of you waved each other goodbye. Poor Jacob. I was never the only one to suffer. You walked towards the bed by the very end of the room and proceeded to close the curtains around you. Let's get some sleep. You lie on your back, staring at the ceiling as you think back to what had happened today. Today's been quite a heavy day. You turn on your side and cover yourself with the blanket that has been prepared for you. I wonder what Dave and Grant are up to. I think that's a decent place to stop for the day. Again, hope you all enjoyed. I think I'm gonna turn in for the night, get some sleep. I am a tired lad. So, see you around, everyone.